What does physical activity means to you?
Okay, I enjoy. Are you recording?
Yes, I
right,
have.
Okay.
Is it okay?
I enjoy it. I know it's good for me because I was a physical education teacher. So it provides physical, social, and to a certain extent, intellectual benefits.
What's your motivation to do physical activity?
To stave off old age, to recover from serious illness, to enjoy myself, and to meet and mix with other people.
What attracted you to participate in walking netball?
I've played since I was 7, so I've a long history of playing netball, and this suits me as I'm less fit.
And were you aware of benefits of physical activities before participating walking netball?
Oh yes, yeah, because of my professional life.
Yes. So were you consider yourself physically active before participating in walking netball?
Yes.
As well. You mentioned about you played netball before walking netball.
Yes.
What are other elements that attract you to walking netball?
I like the team aspect of it compared to individual fitness classes or working in the gym. I like the skills aspect at this pace because it suits me better now I'm not so fleet of foot.
Oh, okay. Is something about netball as a sport that appeals to you? Is it different than other sports? Does it lead to itself to more social benefits?
It's certainly different from other sports in that it's a very fast scoring game, so you get results very quickly.
Even in walking netball?
Oh yes, yes.
So it's quite fast for you?
Yes, it's very fast. You can walk very fast. You can score at a high rate. It's like a compact use of skill, whereas, no energy's wasted. You're using your skills all the time, and your brain.
Yeah. So walking netball is actually not walking a lot. So you actually,
You don't stop moving.
That's quite strenuous.
Yes.
Physically demanding.
Yes. At my level.
At your level. The age.
The walking pace rather than the fast netball pace.
Okay. What benefits do you get from participating in walking netball?
Helps me recover my fitness. I enjoy it so much. I've met new people. It's always nice to do something you feel you're quite competent at.
Yeah.
I'd never thought of that before, but it is. It's quite nice to actually feel I'm comfortable doing this. I like it, and it's good fun.
Okay. Is it competitive?
Yes.
Like how competitive would you say?
It's not the first motivation for our group to compete because we don't play matches against other groups, but we try hard. We like to win.
I heard that a lot of times. Does this competitive side add to the good feelings you have about the program?
Yes.
More,
But again, it always surprises me that I am competitive to the extent that I display on the court.
Okay. How important is walking aspect of walking netball? What do you think of walking sports for aging population?
I think it will expand because there's a larger cohort of fit older people who expect to play sport, and I think it will expand. I think it should expand.
And what do you think of the walking aspect of the sport?
Well, I think that's the fundamental attraction for a lot of people of my age, and I'm 70, who we couldn't play a full-fledged game of rugby, hockey, football, netball, basketball, but we can play to quite a high standard at the slower pace.
That's very interesting. What role do the coordinators play in the program? Are there any attempts to create a positive environment?
Totally, all the time. It was set up to encourage people who weren't necessarily very active to become more active, and also to encourage people who weren't meeting other people so often to expand their social life. So there was a sort of well-being element, I understand, to the programme.
So do you feel part of a network through participation in the program?
A network of players that meet, yes.
Yeah,
Group
like a
feels
social
very,
aspect.
Yes, it's a social group, definitely.
What advantages does this bring, this network of walking netball?
Well, it's the sense of well-being, it's the pleasurable anticipation of coming along, and then it's the sense of well-being that lingers quite a long time afterwards, actually. I would say it lifts mood for several hours after we've played.
So, how important is the social and the fun aspect of the program?
Very. If it wasn't fun, I wouldn't be here. No, seriously.
Yeah. Yes. So between the social aspect and the walking aspect, which is the fun part, what is more important, you think?
I would say they're equal for me.
They're equal for you? Okay. Yeah. Do you think the benefits you get from the program last beyond the time you're here?
Definitely, yes.
Like,
yes. As I've said, the endorphins definitely whirl about for the rest of the day. And knowing that it's a regular commitment, it gives me pleasure to think about it and to think about what fun we had the previous week, to look forward to the fun we're having next week. It means in the town, I pass more people in the street that I know, you know, so it's expanded the social network as well. Definitely lasts and spreads.
So you think that walking netball can potentially empower you?
I think I'm fairly well empowered already, if you like. I think that's I'm not sure about that question.
Okay, that's fine.
But I think for some people it would. It builds confidence and social confidence, definitely.
Okay, yeah. Do you think that your participation in the walking netball program could play a role in what some people has termed successful aging?
Yes.
Do you know what is successful aging? What do you think of that
Well, I
term?
presume it's sort of trying to remain as healthy and active physically, intellectually, emotionally and everything as long as you can. So yes, it definitely does.
Okay. So is there anything you'd like to change about the program?
I'd like it twice a week.
Okay, more sessions.
Yeah. And more widespread sessions so that a larger group can play and we establish a network, you know, across the whole of the south of Scotland.
So you're talking about tournaments,
Yes.
like walking netball tournaments.
Yeah, or even just shared coaching sessions, you know, to stop it becoming too competitive. I think mass participation is more important than competitive success.
Okay. Is the program different than other organized sporting activities you've attended or you're currently attending? Like some people.
It's the only team activity that I do. The other classes tend to be individual activities or individual pursuits like swimming and stuff.
Yeah. In your opinion, does sport provision cater for the demands of older population?
In patches.
In patches?
I would have said this particular group caters very well, but I'm not aware of a similar interest in encouraging older people to participate in other sports.
Only in walking netball? Okay. So you think there should be?
I think
more?
there should be. There's a walking football group here, which is very good, I believe, and flourishing, but it's still a fairly new concept that older people can be physically active in the mainline sports, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Would you consider there are any barriers to get engaged in walking netball or other sports?
No.
No.
One plus point, I think, for our age group is this is a daytime activity rather than an evening activity. It's easily accessible by public transport. It takes place in daylight. Some people, particularly women, are not too happy about driving at night or walking at night or getting home late, perhaps to their own empty house. So a daytime time scale is very, very advantageous.
Do you think like an age or your physical level could be, or the worries of getting injured would be, you know, barriers to get engaged in sports, physical activity?
Kate might know better than me, but I think our group is fairly evenly split between people who've always been active and people who've not been so active at a younger age and have found this suits them very well.
Okay, so you think barriers to get engaged in sports for other people is like that. For you, it's...
It's not, because I'm comfortable in a sporting environment. But I'm aware of people who've not played before, who come and who really enjoy it. It's getting them over the threshold.
Yes.
Would you say?
Yes,
It's a fairly,
I think so. Yeah, I think that's.
You know, there'll always be a population who will not consider active sports in their 60s and 70s. Say, those are the people we need to open it up to.
Yeah. But do you worry about getting injured?
Yes.
Potential risks.
Yes.
Yeah. Would that stop you playing?
No, I would manage that. I'm pretty clued up on how to keep myself safe. I'm not a standard pensioner because of my physical education background.
Do you think your age will be a hindrance for engaging in walking netball or other sports?
Yes, definitely. The older you get, the less capable you are.
Do you think that aging stereotypes, there are some aging stereotypes against the aging population, aging women, will be one of your concerns to not get active?
It doesn't put me off. Again, the difficulty is people who would think it is not for them. They may be influenced by the stereotypes.
But it's not for you personally.
No.
Have you encountered any stereotypes about aging women doing sports?
A little good-humoured jocularity, maybe. Some surprise that I can manage. People have no concept of just how active some retired folk are.
What kind of that jokes are?
A lot of jokes about wearing short skirts, strangely enough, because the young netball players wear delightful short uniforms, and I get a lot of joking about my little short skirts, which we don't wear. I know you could. Yeah, it's funny. Yet.
Okay.
Mostly, people are surprised and then intrigued and then just sort of accept it that this is going on.
So for stereotypes, for you personally, it doesn't put you off?
Not in sport, no. It irritates me a bit, but it wouldn't put me off.
So do you think there are any demands coming from family or society for your aging population to do physical activity? Like they say you should do physical activity, you are 70s, or you shouldn't do physical activity, or you are 70 now.
I think it's shifting from you're 70 now, be careful, you might hurt yourself, to so what if you want to do it? I think the attitude nationally is changing because more younger people are aware of all the sporting things they do, like mountain biking, which didn't exist in previous generations. So they're more used to people carrying on with activity.
So you are active through the whole... You played netball in primary school, right?
All the way through, yeah.
And did you stop playing netball?
Yes, when I married, went overseas, and when there was no availability of clubs or classes to join. So there's been a long gap when I haven't played netball.
But your background is physical education.
Yes, I taught it.
You taught...
I have a degree in physical education.
So you know all about this. Okay. I think that's all for the interview. Yeah. Thank you.
I'm not a typical subject, but you know.
You are actually. I'm gonna give you a case study for this.
Oh, that's fine. I'm happy to help.
Okay.
And 10 of us did it, and it was 4 years, and it was like.
Could you say that again?
Yeah. In 1970, the University of London offered the first degree in physical education, which they called the Art and Science of Movement. It was primarily for teachers. It involved the first year of the medical school studies for doctors, for anatomy and physiology. It involved the psychology and the sociology of childhood and adolescence. It involved all the teaching practices and theories that we had to do. And 10 of us did it. And that was the opening to PE teaching as a graduate profession.
Oh, great.
And because my
Fantastic.
surname is B, I'm first on the list.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you so much. No.
Well, I'm glad we managed to get together.
Thank you so much.
Good
Great,
luck.
thanks, Pat. I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.